90-Day Fiancé. Did Jasmine's beauty pageant worsen her marriage problems? As Gino and Jasmine Pinita's marriage breaks down further on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, the idea that Jasmine would compete in a beauty pageant has become a nightmare. The couple got into their most savage battle to date at Jasmine's pageant. Gino's attempt to stand by Jasmine failed, and their marital issues became more apparent. Jasmine could have had to reassess her reality after realizing her dream. The first time Jasmine and Gino appeared on 90-Day Fiancé, prior to the 90 days, Jasmine was living in Panama, and Gino was pursuing a long-distance relationship with her. In the end, Jasmine relocated to Michigan to be with Gino. This was chronicled on 90-Day Fiancé's 10th season. The couple is currently adjusting to life as newlyweds in Season 8 of 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after. Even though Jasmine and Gino's love was evident from the beginning of their relationship, they have encountered several obstacles that have put their dedication to the test. Jasmine looked for an identity through beauty pageants. During a trying moment in her life, Jasmine made the decision to compete in a beauty contest. As a recent bride to Gino, she was finding it difficult to adjust to life in the United States. Gino was eager to grow their family right away, but Jasmine was scared that she wouldn't be able to conceive again and hadn't disclosed to Gino that she had previously struggled to become pregnant. Thankfully, once Jasmine opened out, Gino understood, and their marriage seemed to be off to a good start. But their ideas fell apart very quickly. Jasmine had left her 2 sons and everything behind in Panama. Gino's mistake on the K-1 visa application caused her boys' immigration to be delayed, even though she had intended for them to follow her to the United States. The idea of being apart from her sons devastated Jasmine's heart, and she decided she no longer wanted to seek a child with Gino. Jasmine even thought about returning to Panama. Even though Jasmine ultimately made the decision to remain in America, she had significant difficulties healing. Jasmine fell deeply into melancholy. Her hair was falling out due to alopecia, and she was extremely anxious about her mother's health and longed for her sons. Jasmine, meanwhile, was totally dependent on Gino as she was unable to find employment in America. The thought of competing in a beauty contest gave Jasmine optimism as she battled to establish herself in her new life. She thought that participating in pageants would give her self-confidence and a sense of direction. Jasmine was pushed over the edge by Gino's criticism during the pageant. Jasmine was clearly frustrated with Gino as her first pageant approached. While Jasmine represented Panama in the Miss International World competition, she traveled with Gino. Gino made an effort to give Jasmine criticism on her presentation, but his attempts were in vain. Gino's critique of Jasmine's appearance infuriated her even more, especially after he acknowledged that he had been recording the other contestants. Gino informed Jasmine that she needed to work on her posture. He claimed to have recorded the other competitors for comparison while doing this. When Gino showed Jasmine the video, he furthered his own delusion. He appeared to take pleasure in observing the other women and making remarks about how they looked. Gino was sending pervert vibes to Jasmine, who expressed her displeasure. Gino faithfully observed a pageant rehearsal from the audience, but Jasmine said that he was distracting her. Her anger at him kept her from enjoying the contest. For Jasmine, competing in the pageant was both a powerful and vulnerable experience. As Jasmine began to reclaim her individuality, her attitude toward Gino changed, and the severity of the problems in their marriage became too great for her to ignore. There were a lot of unsolved problems in Jasmine and Gino's marriage. There were other issues in Jasmine and Gino's marriage besides the pageant. Gino and Jasmine faced normal newlywed issues throughout their time on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, which were made worse by Jasmine's transition to American life and her reality show filming. Gino and Jasmine constantly argued over communication, intimacy, and money. They frequently wounded one another repeatedly without seeing a goal in sight because of their poor communication, which prevented them from working toward a solution. Gino and Jasmine's marriage failed in part due to financial issues. Not having a job, Gino was always looking for ways to economize, such as bringing Jasmine camping on their honeymoon and trying to file the immigration paperwork without legal assistance. Jasmine contended that Gino did not give her any of her own money and instead used it to dominate her. When Gino first claimed he lacked the funds for Jasmine's participation fee, the pageant itself descended into a contentious argument. Jasmine's experience was ruined by the fight, even if he paid for it. The main issue that existed between Gino and Jasmine was closeness. Jasmine believed it was offensive to constantly assert that Gino had no interest in engaging in sexual activity. Jasmine said that Gino's addiction to pornography was the reason of this. Gino, on the other hand, claimed that Jasmine's attack on him was the cause of his intimacy problems. His avoidance of the topic and his discomfort discussing sexual topics on camera gave the appearance that the conflict was still unresolved. Jasmine obviously valued intimacy, and their marriage was in jeopardy due to their inability to work through their issues. Jasmine's confidence to confront her marital issues was boosted by the pageant. Even while Jasmine's pageant was not the success she had hoped for, it did provide her with the catalyst to confront her marital issues. Finding her identity and gaining more confidence was Jasmine's main motivation for competing in the pageant. Now that she felt more self-assured, Jasmine refused to stand by and watch her marriage fail. She utilized her voice to convey her opinions after discovering her own. Their marriage is irreparable, as seen by Jasmine's intense irritation at Gino's support during the pageant. Jasmine's pain at Gino's dominance and lack of interest in her has rendered her completely blind. Sadly, they hardly ever had a fruitful discussion that doesn't result in a brawl. Although Jasmine's achievement motivates her to aim higher than her current relationship, Gino and Jasmine's marital issues extend beyond the pageant. Following her pageant rehearsal, Jasmine and Gino got into a disagreement from which they might never get over. Jasmine cried as she expressed her need to be liked and cherished. Jasmine's harsh attitude toward him, according to Gino, is making her uglier to me by the day. Jasmine and Gino's argument descended to an inappropriate level while exchanging taunts, leading them to doubt if they were ever meant to be married in the first place. The chance of a happy life together was shattered by Jasmine and Gino's contempt for one another, even in the unlikely event that they were able to make up. Rumors have circulated that Gino and Jasmine have gone on to new relationships, despite the fact that neither has officially announced their breakup. The conclusion of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, confirms if their marriage can ever move past the fallout from the pageant. Jasmine and Gino's marital problems have grown worse over time, but now that she has more self-assurance, Jasmine won't put up with any more suffering.